Good morning, everybody. This is Miss Carol from the Barnesville Public Library, who's really been missing story time. So I woke up this morning and thought I am going to do a video for you guys. Now, this is not going to be a story time where I read a book to you. I'm going to do a story time like my mother used to do with us, because you see, my mother was always working. And so when my sister and I would come up to her and say, "We want a story," she would just keep on working, but she would tell us a fairy tale because she absolutely loved fairy tales. So that's what I'm going to do with you. No pretty pictures to look at, but you'll still get a story. And the bonus is this is your bedtime story, or if you're supposed to be taking a nap, you can go ahead and shut your eyes and you won't miss anything because you can still hear me talking. The story I'm going to tell you is the story of a fox who went to battle with a wolf, and it's by the brothers Grimm. Once upon a time, there was an old man and an old woman who lived in an old farmhouse with an old cat and an old dog. One morning, the old man woke up, and he was a little bit grumpier than normal, and he saw the cat laying in the middle of a patch of sunshine on the kitchen floor, and he started yelling, "That cat! It is so lazy! I swear if an entire army of mice went marching across his nose, all he would do is stare at them. It's time for that cat to go." Now, the old woman was sorry to hear that, but she thought maybe it would be a good idea for the cat to just be gone for a few days, and then it could come back later and maybe the old man would be in a better mood. So she opened up the kitchen door and said to the kitty, "Sorry, but, just go to the woods for a few days, would you, dear?" And the cat said, "Meow," and took off into the woods. Now, this was fine, and a few days later, the old man was getting ready to go out the door and tripped over the dog who was laying right in front of the kitchen door. "That dog!" he yelled at his wife. "It's lazier than that cat ever was. All it does is lay around and sleep, and when he does bark, it's nothing there. He just barks for the heck of it. I wish that dog would disappear like the cat did." And he went off to work. Now the wife looked at the dog and said, "Yeah, sorry, maybe you better go to the woods for a few days with the cat. But don't worry, I'm sure in a few days you can come back to the house again." So the dog went out the door and took off for the woods. Now, of course, the cat and the dog, who were not very good friends when they lived together in the house, found each other in the woods and were sitting around and discussing ways that they could somehow get back into their nice, comfortable home. Along came a fox, and he listened to them for a while, and then he said, "I have a problem too, and if you help me, then I can maybe help you later." So the cat and the dog thought about this for a while and said, "Well, what is your problem?" "I am supposed to go to battle against a wolf, and he's already got an army with a bear and a big boar." Now, if you don't know what a big boar is, it's like a very large wild pig. The fox continued about how they were supposed to be gathering in a field of battle, and the two armies were going to fight. The cat and the dog thought about it for a few minutes and thought, "Well, all we can do is try." So the three animals put their paws together and said, "Yes, let's go to battle." Meanwhile, the bear, the boar, and the wolf were already at the appointed place, waiting and waiting and waiting for the fox and his army to arrive. Now, as you well know, waiting can be very, very boring. So, finally the bear said, "You know, I'm getting tired of just sitting here. I think I'll go sit in that tree for a while and take a nap." Well, that's exactly what he did. He went up and got into the fork of a tree where two branches are coming together and nestled down for a nice long nap. The wolf looked at that and thought, hey, that's a great idea, and curled himself up into a ball at the very bottom of the tree. Now, boars, they like to bury themselves. So he found a nice pile of straw and buried himself down into it. And so that all was sticking out was one of his ears. The fox, the cat, and the dog arrived to find all the animals asleep and were thinking to themselves, well, how are we supposed to do battle now? When the dog noticed that pink thing sticking out of the field of straw. What's that? He thought to himself. So he went over and started sniffing it. Didn't smell like anything he knew about. Then he thought, oh, maybe it's something to eat. So he chomped right into that ear as hard as he could. Well, of course, that woke up the boar, who jumped out of the straw and saw these creatures standing there staring at him, and one of them had bit his ear. So he said, okay, that's it. I don't need to do this. And he ran off into the woods. Now, of course, with the dog barking at the boar and the fox yipping away, the cat got scared, and he said, as cats do, I'm going to go climb that tree over there. So he climbed up into the tree. Wouldn't you know it, he ended up jumping right onto the bear's face with all of his claws extended, scratching away. Well, of course, that woke up the bear, who woke up to this furry thing scratching his face like crazy, and he was trying to get away. Oh no, oh no! He fell out of the tree and landed on the wolf, killing him instantly, dead as a stone. So now the boar is gone, the wolf is dead, and the bear is looking around going, well, this wasn't my battle anyway. And he took off. So the fox and the cat and the dog won the battle. Great. So they were walking back, and the fox said, you know, a deal's a deal. I said that I would help you get your house back because you helped me in my battle. So about that time, the fox started seeing some field mice, and he had an idea. So he started catching and killing as many mice as he could and carrying them around in his mouth. Once they got back to the house of the old man and the old woman, the fox put that pile of mice on the doorstep and then told the cat, okay, now I want you to just sit here and pretend like you killed them all. And when the old man comes out, he will see this big pile of mice and think you're a great mouser. So sure enough, the old man came out of the house. The fox and the dog watched from the woods as the cat sat there, all proud and erect, licking its paw. The old man thought to himself, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Okay, you can move back in now. You've proved that you're a good mouser. So the cat got back into the house. Now the dog was watching this and going, you know, that's great for her, but what about me? The fox said, give me a day or so. I'll think of something. It just so happened that the man, the next day, decided that he was going to slaughter a pig and make some sausage. So he took the pig out to the barn and did all the work. And that night, the fox said to the dog, "Okay, here's what you got to do. I want you to go to the barn and I want you to bark like crazy for the entire night." So the dog went, sure enough, sat at the barn door and barked and barked and barked. Now the old woman heard the dog and said to her husband, "You know, the dog is back and, well, he's barking, so maybe there's a thief or something out there. Shouldn't you go check it out?" But the old man said, "Ah, that dog, it's always barking at nothing. Just ignore it." And he rolled over and went back to sleep. The next morning, the old woman was still quite aggravated with her husband, so she decided she was going to go and visit her sister in the next village. She thought to herself, "Oh, and I can take her some of those sausage that we made yesterday. My sister loves sausage." So she goes out to the barn, and there's the dog still laying there, kind of, "Arf, arf." And she goes, "Yes, dear, I know, you're here." She opens the door, and there was absolutely no sausage left whatsoever, only a very large hole. So she went racing back to the house, and she said, "Husband, I told you that there were thieves in the yard last night, and you didn't pay any attention. That dog tried to warn you. It's all your fault. We have no sausages left because a thief took them all." Well, the husband, he had to admit that, "Okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Yes, the cat and the dog can both stay now." So, everybody and every creature lived very happily ever after. The cat and the dog now had their nice home, comfortable home back. The wife was happy because her husband finally was admitting that maybe he wasn't always right. And the husband, well, he had learned his lesson also, that maybe sometimes it was better to listen to other people. But the happiest, the absolute happiest of all, was the fox, who had a very large pile of sausage to keep him going for a very long time. So that's the story from the Brothers Grimm of the fox and the wolf and their battle. And I hope you liked it. And I hope you'll be back again in a week or so when I have another fairy tale that my mother used to teach me. In the meantime, know that I miss you. Yes, we're going to get through this, and hopefully very, very soon I will see you all again in the library. Take care. Bye.